All right, welcome back to the Luke and Brett show. What's happening, Luke?
What is cooking, my dude?
God, things are going good. So we are on December 22nd. Yesterday was the winter solstice. So now the days start getting longer, which is really great. I had to explain that whole concept to my kids on the way to school today, and they're pretty excited about it.
That is good news. I forgot that I guess I didn't even realize it was that happened. But it's always good to be on the upswing, in my opinion.
No, I agree. So, wanted to talk to you about some of the things that I saw. So one of the things that and we always have to stop ourselves before talking because every time we do that, we're like, we should record. So here's the thing. I've been going through our past episodes. We're like at 43. This is either 43 or 44. I'm still working through it. And one of the things that I saw is number one, which I think that we can talk about today, is artificial intelligence. Generative artificial intelligence. Because number one, when I was going through the videos, that is the one that gets the most engagement and the most questions. So, and the reason why I know this is because what I am using for artificial intelligence. Now, you and I both have virtual assistants outside of the country. What I did is I developed a system, and I'm taking our videos, I'm having those transcribed, and then I'm taking that transcription and I'm running that through ChatGPT, and I'm asking it, number one, identify a short description for YouTube. Give me 5 examples of a title to choose from, and then create timestamps and create the chapters with timestamps. So you can do that. So after this, what we're going to do is we're going to take the video, we're going to take it over into Descript, have Descript transcribe it. We're going to take the transcription, and we already have a prompt created. It took a while for me to figure out the right prompt to get the right output, but we took a prompt and then we just copy and paste, and boom, I get all of that. So
Love it.
I think that we should talk about how you're using AI, and then today let's talk about maybe the top 3, 4, or 5 ways that agents can use artificial intelligence for their business. So you're the expert on this because everything that I've been doing is really on the tail end of what you're doing. You're like the test kitchen. You're going out and figuring out. You're the one that got me on ChatGPT. So, and we haven't talked about this for a while. What are you doing with AI right now?
Oh man, so right now, um, currently our primary focus is we are it's so crazy to see the trajectory that's happened from, and I was just going over a training. So it's been a year now since I started using it for marketing, and I just did a training on this the other day where I did a 1-hour training. It was like one of the first things. Did a 1-hour training with a virtual assistant to create blog posts to then distribute out to all of our clients, and that was like the very kind of like first thing that we ever did. It was December 6th, 2022. I had a virtual assistant pump out 6 blog posts in a single day and distribute that out to all of our clients. So that was a year ago. Now we've seen a lot of advancements, some hoop and hollering and hype, but today now what one of the things that I'm pushing on our team for focusing on is we're getting homeowner data. Typically right now we're primarily focusing on for sale by owner stuff, and we're doing outbound AI calling on it.
Wait a second. You're doing outbound AI calling on like telephone calls? You're doing that?
We are going and getting for sale by owner data.
Okay.
So we got this isn't full AI. That's not a full AI process, but it definitely includes portions of that. But a combination of email outreach and AI calling to those contacts. So
But
when
when
we'll
you're
gather that information, do like we'll spin, do some spin, run that through ChatGPT to do an outbound email outreach plus a phone call.
Okay, so walk me through that because that sounds like you're like 90% hands off. So let me illustrate kind of like what I'm thinking you're doing, and you let me
Hmm.
know how accurate I am. So you're getting the list of for sale by owners in a market area, and
Yep.
in that list you're feeding that into your database,
Hmm.
and you've trained AI to to be that. Um, to send out the emails, but then also to do a voice call. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yep. Voice calling out. Um, so it's a combination of outbound phone call. We
And
start
does it
off
sound
with
natural?
it's about 90% there. I mean, it's y- some people are totally cool with it. Like the people who we've sampled to, it is not a live product for people. It is still like beta test. Like I'm still um so that's where we're at right now. Still beta testing things internally. About 90% of the people are like, I'm I would be way cool turning this on. There's still 10% of the people that are like not comfortable with it, like representing their company. They're like, this just doesn't sound, you know, right to me.
Well, that's
So
totally that's that. Are you feeding that through high level? Are you through? Is that the calling
yeah,
platform that you're
yeah,
using?
it's going out right now. I mean, we have a combination of like Zapier and Make, 11 Labs, high level. I'm not totally clear on the tech stack. That's definitely above my pay grade. But I'm testing out. Like I'm still pretty hands on with the whole process.
Well, and one thing I know about you is you get to know as much as you need to know. You don't need to understand why the engine works. You typically figure out, okay, what does this do? What do I need to know in order to get it situated? But you don't need to know actually, how the actual process works. You just
Yeah.
you just know that it does work. What
That's
kind of
that's taking that's taken me some time to like let go of like having to control everything. I'm like, you know what? There's certain things that are out. I mean, at a certain point, you get beyond your pay grade and need to trust other people to do what they're really good at.
So what kind of leads are you guys getting off of this? So what kind of number one, how long have you been doing the for sale by owner thing? Because you just said you did a training on it.
Mhm.
So how long have you been doing that, and have you had enough time doing it to see what kind of results you're getting from it?
So the outbound phone calling, so we're primarily right now we're just testing for sale by owner stuff. We'll probably move to full on just like geo area type just homes list stuff. But for right now it's booking appointments. The the cost per appointment is insane because it's almost, I mean, next to it's extremely affordable to run APIs and AI. I think my last bill just from open AI for the last month was like $17 for for what I used for over like a 3-week period.
Holy
um
cow!
I mean, there's obviously still tons of other
Sure.
costs associated with that, but like pound for pound, you're talking about the amount of output that you can get for for the cost is insane.
So how much are you typically at with your current with what you're doing? Where are you at with kind of cost per appointment, and that's that's a listing appointment, right? Is that that's what we're
It
talking about?
Yeah, so it's I mean we're talking about right now it's a for sales by owner. I mean it's not like I'm going in to like have like a full on like we're ready to list your house, but it's like, hey, were you open to talking about some options type stuff?
Okay.
So for sale by owner, teed up to have just a conversation. So it's low level. It's not like, hey, I'm coming to list your house. Like we're getting this on the market, and the next day it's like, hey, let's talk about some options to get your home sold and what that looks like. So, but I mean, at the end of the day, like, what else is anybody going to be doing in that regard? Um, so that's super cool and extremely promising. Um, Still, I mean, there's still it's there's a lot to be developed in that realm or processes put into place. Um, but it's like the amount of effort to do that to compare to just generating leads is still there's still it's not like, oh my gosh, I'm stopping everything that I'm doing and we're going full on here, because a part of me still is like, how long can this go on for? I have
Well,
this in the back of my head that like, okay, there's going to be a hammer's going to come down here where it's like you can't have AI making phone calls to people, period.
oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, regulation is most definitely going to be coming down, and is what I'm hearing you say. I've been involved very much heavily with what I do is understanding the federal do not call list, and it talks about people exclusively, and it talks about auto dialers and triple line dialers and such. So I can see how that is, and in fact, as I'm kind of thinking about this out loud, I would probably caution people to do their own due diligence to see how this affects with what they're doing in their business. But here's the thing that I really like about what you're saying is that you're you're on a different spectrum. You're the end of the spectrum. I think for most real estate agents, you and I have talked about this, is we still have real estate agents who have not really figured out how to adopt a social media strategy, but
Hmm.
even understanding how digital strategies, a pay-per-click strategy, a social media strategy, ad strategy, organic
Right.
strategy. They're still trying to figure that out, and we're already more than a decade into that. But then you loop on AI onto that, so I think that you're on the trailblazing side of that. At least that's from my perspective, because every time you end up doing something, that kind of leads me into that same direction. Um, but there are things that I think that you started out. For example, how long? What are you doing with the blog now? That you said a year ago you started out with the blog, which I think
Yeah.
every real estate agent, there is no reason why they cannot have uh, unique, special, and different content that's going out to their database on a consistent basis, because AI takes 90% of that lift. But you started a year ago. What are you seeing? This is like turning. Sometimes when we start talking about AI, it turns into more of me interviewing you, um, because I have questions.
Yeah.
But how are you doing that now? Kind of like, where are you at? How many? Do you know how many blogs you've sent out? How consistent you're doing? What kind of open rate are you getting? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Um, so I don't have I wouldn't say I have a ton of stats. My approach to it from my end is more of just like efficiency and um not necessarily tracking down to like the minute, like how many phone calls or what's the ranking that we're getting. Ultimately, like the metrics that I kind of track is for me internally is our churn for our customers, and if our customers aren't canceling, that tells me that we're on the right path, and that's kind of like my north star. So I have a what I refer to as our golden ratio. how many referrals are we getting and how many cancellations are we getting. As long as our referral rate is over our cancellation rate, then
You're
we're going
growing.
in the right direction. If if it starts to go negative, then we're not going in the right direction. So I boil it down to like the simplest of simple things, as far as that's concerned. So that those are metrics that I track. Now, what we're doing in regards to like um uh process is really, it's down to I think we're doing like one blog post a week across the board for all of our clients, pushed out. And it's essentially, it's like a market update. It's something that can be very kind of universal for everyone, like universally applicable, with some basic, like, basic stats overall. And this is more just, it's mostly for us, just for efficiency. Like, how do you service, hundreds of clients, um with good information that's like timely and relevant. So that's more. So we have like one, like kind of like market update. But then we also incorporate a lot of our like we'll take some of our more successful like organic, like social media posts that we do, like whatever gets the most traction, and we'll typically turn those into like longer form blog posts. And those ones are generally like more more evergreen type, like here's 7 things that you can do to, like, I mean, just like your kind of more standard blog type stuff that you would think that would rank um well, or resonate. It's like, how do you get your home ready for sale in wintertime type things. So those are that's kind of our process. I think we're doing maybe like one of those a week. We're doing like 20 to 30 pieces of social media and Google content a month, and then whatever resonates there into like a longer form piece.
And are you running that all through high level, like your social media stuff, the social media manager? Because it's gotten pretty great.
It's We're not writing it through there. I've created a few GPTs specifically for them. So we'll run them through those first, and then transfer that over into high level. And I think and that's mostly just for like just cost, because like there's still cost associated running it directly in high level versus outside of high level and importing it in. So we have our whole process where we will upload and distribute that out to everybody.
Okay,
um,
so you're not
Internally, though,
using.
it's a great process. Like if it's just like a single agent inside their own location, they can create their own content, and it's still really good. But when we're as a done for you thing, we're getting this out to like hundreds of people. So just it's a different process for us internally for that.
Okay, so you're still using the social media manager functionality. You're just not using the embedded the AI that's embedded with high level. So no different than using, you go out there, you go into GPT, you create the content, and then you go back into high level and you create the manual settings, as opposed to just letting their AI run freely with it, because that's a higher cost than it is by just running with whatever you're paying for your AI, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll create like a CSV, essentially like a CSV that's plugged into everybody's account. But we'll distribute that out, and then using account level like merge code. So it's like importing their name and their business address, all that good stuff for search purposes.
That's cool, man. That's really cool. So, but as far as as I'm starting to think about what people can actually utilize AI for right now, is to one of the things that we just talked about is blog posts. Number one, uh, help you draft up a professional letter, help you draft up a professional um, email. What are you using? Are you using anything for the creation of your thumbnails? Like, are you using AI to create various different images and thumbnails for you? And if so, which ones are you using?
Not YouTube thumbnails yet, but I have we've definitely been using it for ad creative. And it's been extremely effective. At first it's really some of the stuff is still, it's kind of like a judgment call, but in terms of like being able to crank out creatives, it's extremely efficient, and they eh, they will perform on average quite well. So right there, it's like, okay, this makes sense, and it's, I think there's certain creatives that work really well that have like bright, vibrant colors, some things that are like futuristic that would normally, you'd either have to pay somebody or go find, or so it just cuts down on a lot of operational type stuff and allows you to kind of test things. And at the end of the day, just generic type stuff is easy to create. Now, when it gets to like creating like videos and stuff, we have some processes that are pretty good. I'm not sure if I showed that to you, but like, we have like full on AI videos that, we're able to, create, where it's like, it looks like me, I'm talking, and I could just plug stuff in.
You did show that to
Um,
me.
so the short
That's
form content,
that's Hey Hiya or something like that.
that one of the programs that we're using for that is HeyGin. And it's pretty remarkable where it's at already, out of the gate. So, you know, that's not, so that's kind of like a short form video type stuff that could be really,
So
useful.
um, you're just typing in the script, and then it just takes you and it just creates that for you. You don't have to do any recording or editing, and you're
Yeah.
using that. You're using that right now.
I'm not personally for me. We are testing it out for people. Um, Everybody really wants like short form video, so
Yeah,
I'm like,
because you sent that to me, and
yeah,
I haven't gotten through it to actually do my beta to pull up my own avatar,
yeah,
but to come up, because then what you could do is you could go to GPT, create a short form script, hook story offer, then you
yeah,
can take that script, put it in HeyGen, using your own avatar, and it will just punch it out.
yep,
And
yeah, exactly.
that's nuts. Okay, so um, are you using Canva with their AI integration for the images, or are you using like Photoshop? Photoshop just came out with some pretty cool stuff this year.
No,
Um,
the only thing we've been doing, or I started going down some of the image stuff. I didn't really spend a whole lot of time on it. We are just using the native Chat GPT Dolly directly in there, where it's like, you create whatever you want, and then it'll pump out the images, and
okay, but
it,
that's
it
the paid version. You don't get that with Chat GPT 3.5, the free version, right? You got to upgrade to the
no, that's the 4, but I mean it's $20 a month, and
yeah.
if you're using
I
it
mean, you're into
for
Canva for 12, you're into Photoshop for 20 or 10.
right,
So
yeah. So one thing I will say for everybody who's watching this, it's like a real estate agent, that's an easy thing to do. And this isn't ChatGPT, this is with Bard. So this is Google. And this is something you can do every single week without fail. It's like, create a what's happening around me email to go out to
wow.
my database for real estate. So you're using Google, you're getting relevant stuff that's happening, and it's Christmas time. So it could be like ice skating rinks, Santa places, like Christmas lights, like what's happening around me that your audience might resonate with. typically we're talking about families, things like that, to create an email to go out to your database. You could do that every single week. It's timely,
Wow.
it's
Why
relevant,
use Google Bard?
it's just for the best like
Because
information
it's
that's out
okay.
there. Like,
Because it's
yeah,
tied
it's
into
like
the
Google.
relevant. Is that still in beta,
Yeah.
or is that actually a product now?
They rolled out another like updated version of it. I forget what they named it, but I'm still calling it Bard.
Okay.
So I
Look,
mean,
man,
it's
we're at
still
time. This was.
yeah.
I mean, we're 25 minutes in, and we like to keep these between 20 and 25 minutes. But I hear your kids in the background. Uh, life happens. But I got to tell you, AI, as far as utilizing it to just free up some extra time
hmm
to keep you're clearly using that and testing that to build out a system to help lead generation. I think the most important thing when it comes to real estate is lead gen and lead conversion. Um, if we're going in the, you got to have the skills to generate those leads. And I think you and I believe that in the modern era, you doing the cold prospecting is probably not the best use of your time. You can put, now even more, you can put that lead generation on autopilot. You've just taken that lead generation on autopilot to kind of to the next level. But ultimately you do have to have those skills. You do have to have those communication skills, those social skills, those skills, objection handling skills,
Right.
presentation skills. A lot of things can be done, but you don't have to do what I think is customary in real estate, and that is to just grind harder. I don't think grinding
Right.
harder in 2023 is a viable business plan, especially with the reduction of inventory we're seeing nationally. So I think we've given a lot of value to people on this video. I'm going to be sending it out for sure.
Amen. It was a good
All
one.
right, that's it. So Luke, if I don't talk to you, have a Merry Christmas. We're going to be doing this next
Likewise.
Friday. We are good for next Friday, right? I am. Are you good?
I believe so. Yeah.
All
As
right.
of right
Well,
now.
so we have one more of these for before the end of the year, and we'll see you guys then.
Let's get it.
All right. See you guys.
Rock and roll.